The policewoman said nothing, but tugged at a loose strand of the coarse dark hair that framed her face in a fringe of unruly corkscrews. Oksana would have straightened it before coming to work, even in a place as pointless as this. She began to regret taking Charlie's boss's advice to seek out this woman. She decided to emphasize Charlie's importance, his proximity to high-ranking officers that this lowly woman could never know, never have. He should have been presenting evidence to commission chaired by Assistant Commissioner Corrigan on Russian mafia in London. Now she had Hanlon's attention. Oksana's sharp glance noticed a slight stiffening of posture, a narrowing of the eyes in the woman opposite. Hanlon looked hard at her. Corrigan had sent Hanlon into this living exile in Berkshire. Was Charlie Taverner a lifeline back to her old job in some form of serious crime with the National Crime Agency? Corrigan, thought Hanlon. The name had jolted her awake. Until now, Hanlon had not been paying that much attention to the Russian. Everything came at a cost, and Oksana was paying the price for her beauty. No one really took her seriously, except when her exams had been marked without anyone knowing what she looked like. Hanlon herself was not immune. She had mentally dismissed Oksana as a mail-order bride and had more or less assumed that her husband was probably playing away with some other woman of doubtful virtue, some other Eastern European bimbo from an agency. "May I ask what he was supposed to give evidence about at this inquiry?" she asked. "Prostitution and there." For a moment Oksana's mind went blank as she mentally searched for the English. She knew them as sutenya. Then it came to her. "Pimps, particularly growing connections between Moscow and London. She shrugged. "Russian population here is increasing. 5 years ago, Charlie tells me, there were maybe 40,000 Russians here in London. Now, who knows how many now? Some say 200,000, some say 400,000. Vivi says Russian oligarchs own Chelsea now." "Who's VV?" asked Hanlon, baffled. "Vladimir Vladimirovich, President Putin," said Oksana, rolling her eyes and her R's. "Oh," said Hanlon. "But it's dangerous to lift up rocks and look underneath," said Oksana. "Sometimes you find more than you expect. That is what Charlie was doing, picking up rocks." "What do you think has happened to your husband?" asked Hanlon. She raised her voice slightly as another jet passed overhead. She was beginning to get used to the endless noise of the flight path. Heathrow was only a couple of miles away. Both Mawson and McIntyre were out of the office, and the place was silent apart from the roar above them. Absent-mindedly she touched the tender bruised flesh around her eye, a sparring injury from her boxing training. "Charlie is dead," said Oksana flatly. There was a bleak acceptance in her voice that touched Hanlon, who was used to people being either in denial or more visibly shaken. The woman across the desk was calm and matter-of-fact. There was no, "I can't believe this could have happened." She was just stating a fact. If there's one thing Russians are, Hanlon thought, it's tough. She'd met a few. Oksana's face was expressionless. "What makes you say that?" she asked. Oksana looked at her steadily. "The people Charlie knew, particularly from Moscow, that is how they deal with problems. They eliminate people." "I see," said Hanlon. Maybe in Russia, she thought, but not in Windsor. Not tubby ex-civil servants like Charlie. Litvinenko, yes. Taverner, no. "But you shouldn't really be talking to me about this. Your husband was a civil servant, ex-Foreign Office, an important man. You have a reasonably convincing story suggesting a crime has been committed. Go to Corrigan. He's surprisingly accessible." "No," said Oksana. Hanlon wasn't overburdened with work, but the Baranski disappearance was generating more than its fair share of paperwork, and she had a meeting with Child Protection looming that she had to prepare for. Oksana's problem wasn't her problem. Even if what she said was true, her husband's disappearance wouldn't fall under a missing persons remit. It would be Thames Valley's serious and organised crimes baby. She also suspected that Mawson would not be happy.